This is Gavin back with my crazy little YouTube channel. It has been quite a while since I posted a video. It's been about 9 or 10 days, but with the holiday season and college applications becoming my life over the last few days, it puts a time constraint on you. But before I do get into this video, I do want to say that I'm going to post this video on a Facebook group called Weather Freaks. Now, I would ask if you do come into contact with this video through that Facebook group, if you would leave a comment on this video in the comment section to let me know if you are from that group or not, just to see how many people are actually seeing my video through social media. Now, the reason I really wanted to make this video is because I am extremely excited about what the models have been putting out over the last few initializations. So in this video, I'm going to be looking at the global forecasting system model. Now, but I should say before I do start here, I'm really just making this video not to provide really a forecast analysis or anything, but I just want to be able to document my understanding of what's happening, um, show and document the passion that I have for the weather here. But really, what I want to do is to get this video out there, and I want people to provide me with critique as to what I'm explaining wrong, what I'm explaining right, give their opinion on it, on how I could look at certain factors, and overall just critique what I'm saying in my video. Now, without further ado, I've been talking for a while and I haven't even gotten to the video yet, so I do apologize for that. But the reason I'm so excited about these model runs is that there is going to be a potential snowstorm that brings quite significant snowfall for my area of the U.S. Now, granted, this is 4 to 5 days out, and it's quite uncertain, and the models haven't really consolidated on anything with that. But I'll stop blabbing my mouth now, and I'll go ahead and get into this. So the storm system that we're going to be looking for really starts over here in the Rockies in Utah and in Colorado with this low pressure system over here in New Mexico and Nevada. Now, this is 6 p.m. on December 28th, and really we're not going to start seeing this thing crank up until it gets into the Midwest. Right here, you're looking at December 29th at noon. And what's going to be a big part of this storm, if it does develop into one, is the sleet and freezing rain, I believe, that you can already see that the GFS is calling for in northern Missouri and in Iowa there. But as we go into the day before New Year's Eve on the 30th, you can start to see this storm system picking up into the Great Plains from Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, and dumping quite a bit of snow, which is probably not unusual at all up here in Minnesota and Wisconsin. But things get a lot more interesting as we go into noon on the day before New Year's Eve on December 30th. Now, what's quite interesting to me is just the sheer amount of moisture and precipitation that the GFS is calling for. Right, I mean, extending all the way up to Canada from the Gulf of Mexico and Texas and Louisiana. Now, this storm system, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing here, the really the factor that's going to drive if there's going to be a lot of snow in this storm system is the back edge here of this storm system. Now you can clearly see again, correct me if I'm setting this wrong, but you can clearly see the amount of moisture that's being pulled up from the Gulf and the cold air that's coming down here from Canada. Now, I believe it is my understanding that if there is going to be a lot of snow in the Mississippi embayment area and the plains here, is whether or not that cold air is going to be able to meet up with the moisture. Now, as we go another 12 or another 6 hours, let me back up there. As we go another 6 hours or so into 6 p.m. on December 30th, you can faintly start to see a little bit of snow mixing on the backside of that storm system. Now, as we go into midnight on the last day of 2020, hooray for that. As we go into the backside of the storm system, you can see the cold air finally meeting up with the moisture, changing that rain over to some sleet, freezing rain, and snow. What's going to be particularly hazardous about this storm system, in my opinion, is the timing of it, given the fact that people are going to be out and about celebrating New Year's. That seems to be exactly in the same time frame of this storm. Now, I will go ahead and pause and say that in my general area in southeast Missouri, northeast Arkansas, the setup is looking for. I have no idea if it's going to be as dramatic or as impactful as the ice storm in January of 2009 that brought an incredible amount of ice to this area here. Now, this ice storm in 2009 brought so much ice. I can remember, I believe I was 7 years old at the time. Where I was, we lost power for about 2 weeks. School was out for the same amount of time. It was horrible. As a winter and weather lover, now I look back and think it was amazing, but I also think it was horrible for the amount of lives that were probably lost, given the hazardous conditions. Now, again, I don't know if this storm system is going to pan out to be anything like that whatsoever. But what I will say is that the GFS is putting out a strong ice signature on the back edge of this storm. So as we go into about, let me back up just a little bit. As we go into about 6 a.m. on Christmas Eve, you can start to see the snow intensifying and the ice intensifying on the backside of this storm system. And as we look into noon on New Year's Eve, you can start to see a little bit the cold air is kind of pushing that moisture out to the east and just making an not really converging on it as well as it should be for a snowstorm, just kind of pushing that moisture off to the east and making almost everything rain besides the back edge of it here, where the GFS is still projecting some ice. Now, however, as you can see, this cold, now again, if I'm explaining this wrong, please correct me, but you can see this cold air just all in the mid portion of the United States here. It has made its way down from Canada, and it is extending all the way down into Texas. Now you can see this low pressure system here, although somewhat undefined now from Louisiana, it's going to be making its way north. That's what's going to be the playmaker here, in my opinion. So as we go into the latter parts, in the final few hours of 2020, you can start to see this low pressure system make its way up the Mississippi River, and it's going to start to bring some ice and another round of ice and snow on the backside of this storm system. As you can see, the low pressure system intensifying into a 998 signature, which is going to bring again that really strong signature of ice down from central and eastern Arkansas all the way up to Pennsylvania. And as we go into the first few hours of 2021, thank God 2020 is over. I'm sure we can all agree on that. You can see this low pressure system making its way into Tennessee and on the western side of this storm, bringing quite a bit of snowfall to Arkansas and southeast Missouri and Illinois here. Now, the past models before this initialization on midnight of December 27th, the snow had been forecasted to make its way over toward the Knoxville area in Tennessee, a much more eastward track, if you will. But as we go into noon on New Year's Day, the first day of 2021, you can see a really heavy snow signature as this low pressure system does start to fizzle out as it makes its way north and east, but not before bringing quite a bit of snow, at least according to this model, bringing quite a bit of snowfall to this area of the United States. As it not, but As you can see, that low pressure system does start to make its way to the east, still dumping quite a bit of snow and ice up here in upstate New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, in the Ohio River Valley, I believe it's called over here, in Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. So that storm system does start to make its way out. But before I go any further, I will go ahead and show you the 10 to 1 snowfall accumulation projected by the GFS before I forget. Before I do go ahead and show you guys the GFS compared to the European model over on Pivotal Weather. So we'll go ahead and switch this over to total snowfall. Now, this picture here, or this forecast here, is really exciting for me with my area, with myself residing in this exact area here. Now, what's particularly uh, makes it exciting for me is we haven't, if you are from this area, we haven't seen a snowfall like this in 9 or 10 years, since about 2009 or 2010. And this signature calling anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow. I have absolutely no idea if this model is going to hold or not. I certainly hope it does. If it does, it's going to be the biggest snow we've had in years. Like I said, I will try to make some videos over the next few days capturing the changes in the models, which it is going to change. This whole swath of snow here can move 200 miles west or east. There's just no telling now. But before I make this video too long, I want to go ahead and switch it over to the European model. I won't show the precipitation model because there's not a whole lot of difference. I'll just go ahead and put it over to the projected snowfall forecast on the European model over on Pivotal Weather, and I'll see what you guys make of that. Sorry for all the advertisements, but as you can see, the let me, sorry about this. Let me switch it over to the European model, which is just now being initialized. I'll go ahead and switch over to the formative run. So this was initialized, the 12Z initialization on December 26th, and I will go ahead and only show, due to time constraints, I'll only go ahead and show the total accumulated snowfall through the 2nd of January. Now, as you'll see here, it's quite a similar path as the GFS over here. Not as intense in my area, but what I am glad to see as a winter lover and as a snow lover is the same general path that they are that the European and the GFS are agreeing on. Now, I could say to my less educated audience, the GFS and the European model, I would say, are the two biggest forecasting systems that meteorologists use to make a weather prediction. Arguably, the Euro is tends to be a little bit more accurate. This is the European model, um, but again, this far out, you can't really specify exactly how much snow is going to fall. But as you can see, there's a general trend in this dip from the northeast down into the Great Plains that has been consolidated between the models. So again, there's a lot that can change in the next 4 or 5 days. But I wanted to make a video and get it out to people in my community to maybe, I think it's just awesome that I'm one of the only people in my community that really focuses on the weather and forecasting the weather and the amount of and the precautions that we may need to take in the next few days. Because granted, if we get 1 or 2 inches of snow, that's nothing for people in the north. But for this area here that could see quite a bit of snow, especially according to the GFS, this could be a life-threatening situation, especially if there's the amount of ice that the GFS and Europeans calling for. So I want to go ahead and make this video and get it out to members of my community just to see if these models, since they are consolidated, I'm not sure what the forecasting with the level of confidence in the forecast just yet, but I want to go ahead and make this video to get that information out there. Again, thank you so much if you've watched this far. I really do appreciate that. And if you are seeing this video from the Weather Freaks group over on Facebook, please leave a comment on this video to let me know if you are from over there, just to see how many people are actually getting their information from Facebook. But my name is Gavin with the Naturally Nerdy Weather YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate any comments you leave. If you would leave a like, yeah, any critique, advice, anything. Thank you so much for watching.